I choose to be a farmer because farming is life. People used to say data is life, but probably tell someone else that farming is life.
Wow.
You can't go without eating a day. Farming is what gives you the strength to go on. When you wake up early in the morning, before you do anything, you have to eat. Before you think business, you have to eat. Before you take your kids to school, you have to eat. Before you learn, you have to eat. So farming goes all the way around. And I think that's why it's
Farming, because farming as a profession is one thing that makes me a survivor in this world. Because we all need to eat. And when you don't put something into the stomach, then it will be very hard for you to carry out many activities that we do today conveniently. And remember, not everyone can go to the farm. And other people out there who are in the administrative block or doing some other things, that it's also helping this world to flourish, especially the government that we have right now. There are some specific people that need to go to the farm. So I chose to become a farmer in order to help, not just myself, help those people. So when we come together, definitely we'll do something better to make this country more better than it
Farming, just because I love business. And farming is a business, and it's one of the most profitable business in Nigeria. And the younger generation needs to start looking into business. And anyone who is doing farming is doing a proper business, because a business is proper when it has a buyer. In farming, you don't have to wait for buyers, because the buyers are readily available. So farming is a business with a ready-made buyer, and that tells me you make cool money. So I love money, I love business. That's why I chose agriculture.
orientation. Well, people used to say farming is dirty, and believe me, farming is dirty. You have to dig your hands up in the soil. And when you see people do that work, you believe that they're up to no good. Because who doesn't want to be in a room filled with AC, sitting comfortably on a chair, in Israel wig as a lawyer? You're cool in that place. Doesn't want to be a doctor, doesn't want to enjoy life. But farming doesn't give you those opportunities, especially in Nigeria. You have to get in the soil and work with your hand. So I think the past orientation about what farming really is what is making young generation run away from farming. If farming were to be portrayed as a very lucrative business whereby you don't even have to sit in a room filled with cool breeze or anything to have money, and if our leaders actually tell this young generation that they can get something really cool out of farming, then I think the younger generation would definitely run toward farming as they're running toward medicine or being a lawyer. Truth be told, farming is not really easy. It's a bit difficult, because when you go through the process of becoming a farmer, or even farming, for instance, it has processes. When you think about the cultivations, think about the processes, you wouldn't be interested in farming. That is why it requires love and passion. For you to farm, you need to love what you do. You need to have passion for what you do. When you have those two things, then it will be very easier for you to go into farming. And I think that is one thing the youth of today lack. If you have those two things, then it will be very easier for them to do that. And another thing is marketing. Imagine you putting a lot of money into farming and your output is just too low. Looking at the time spent on farm, the cost of production, and a lot of things, but you still sell it at a very low price. And I want you to remember that no one wants to do a business and get a very smaller output. We want something higher, something bigger. And youth of today, they want an instant money. They want to do a business and get the return immediately. So I think if we could have a better marketer, I think young ones should be eager to come back into farming.
Personally, I'll blame it on three things. I'll blame it on government policies, I'll blame it on misinformation, and professional bodies. How do we make governmental policies now? Look at China, look at Korea, look at all of them giving them better policies to farm. But Nigeria as a country is not giving us a better policy to farm. Rather, the policy we have is come and get a loan, which is not even accessible. That's number one. Number two, I blame it on wrong information. We have some people that goes on radio. They tell people, if you do this, you get this, you do this, you get this, which is not sustainable. This information has, make a lot of people run away from agriculture because they believe this is wrong. Wrong information is the number second. Why the third one is the professional bodies. We had a lot of professional bodies in Nigeria. My question still remains, what's their impact on the Nigerian soil? They don't have any impact for my own liking. If you have an international body in your state, everything's supposed to become easier. But these researches are taken outside Nigeria to other places, which is not proper. These 3 points will continue to make young people run away from agriculture. Because when you can assess things, when you're not like the Westerners, when you're not like other countries, why do you want to do it? So I feel the government, the professional bodies now should look into policies that is going to make agriculture more sustainable. They need to start looking at China, looking at the US and other places.
Catch them young. When we start from when they are still a baby, we train them to love farming. While I was in high school, there are always a lot of competitions in my school. Mathematics competition, English competition. But I've never seen or gone to an agricultural competition. No. Why? Because they put mathematics, English to be the most dominant subjects in school. If they can make these kids know that agriculture too is very important to everyday life, then it will really help them. Another thing is examples from those who have done it. If the older generation can feel so proud of being a farmer, then this young one will follow suit. Why do you think being a doctor is very important today? Why do you think being a lawyer is nice? It's because these young ones have seen that being a doctor, being a lawyer is like a very important job. That's why they run to it. And they actually saw this from the examples of the older ones. So older ones today too, please try to tell us younger generations that agriculture is also included in one of the life-saving professions.
A lot of things can bring them back, but I will only speak on two. The first thing the government needs to do is the improvement of farm mechanization. If that is improved, then young ones will be eager to come back. Imagine a young person spending 2 weeks on cultivation and clearing of land. But if our farm mechanization is being improved, it is something we can do in a day. In fact, it will fasten up production. Imagine you cultivating your land this week, using a planter, you did everything. In the following months to come, it was harvested, and it was harvested neatly and done neatly. Definitely you would even see more output, because as a result of you using your hands, manpower, you tend to lose some things out of your output. But if it is being done by machines and all, definitely the output of what you've produced will actually come about. And the second thing is employment opportunities. If you've noticed very well, when universities conduct their admission process and all, you can never hear them saying agriculture is one of their most competitive courses there. Why? It is because after you're done schooling and everything, there is no job. Imagine someone who went to school to study agriculture, now came back and had no other choice than to divert into other forms of work, that is not encouraging at all. But if there is employment opportunities, if you're out of school, definitely you get something, you work somewhere, you will be useful, then young ones will run into agriculture. And personally, I'm looking forward to that day when they will say agriculture is one of the most competitive courses in the universities.
By agent in the education of Nigeria, so please let the final year students, agriculture final year students, let them use farming practices as their project. Give them 2 acres, let them plant. Have a business deal with them, telling them if you do this very well, the school buys it back from you. Then use those money to invest in other thing. Any student who can pass that process would never leave farming. That's my number 1 solution. Number 2 solution, government should please get closer to us agriculturally. The government doesn't get to us closer to us politically alone. Get to us closer to us agriculturally. Relate with us. Look at your colleagues all over the countries, all over other countries. Copy from them. Let's make agriculture one of our main financial points. So not only crude oil, because one day crude oil will get to the extreme, but agriculture will never get to the extreme, because we'll continue to eat every day. Number 3, I would beg on the international bodies to please invest in the communities. We know you are getting it right. International bodies, professional bodies are getting it right. Please just invest 0.001 on your community. If you are in Oyo State, please invest much in Oyo State. If you're having a research on cassava, let's start buying garri for at least maybe 15 naira per koko. And now we will know you are investing in your community. So the government should get closer to us agriculturally. The professional bodies should please invest in us too. Invest in the community anywhere you find yourself. Invest in the community. And number 3, the principal stakeholders in education, please use practicals as your final year student practical project. Have a business deal with them. Anyone who can pass that, I'm very sure, will never leave agriculture.